This is the Firefighter Mayday Survival Training for the Terrell Fire Department, reflected in SOG 300.1.60, and as a follow-up class to our accountability training, so you'll need a good grasp of our accountability procedures before proceeding with the Mayday Survival Training. And as always, this SOG can be accessed via the library function on emergency reporting, so if you're ready, let's get started. We must first define what a Mayday actually is. Mayday is an emergency procedure word used internationally as a distress signal in radio communications. It's used to signal a life-threatening emergency primarily by aviators and mariners, but is also used by local organizations such as fire departments, police agencies, and transportation organizations. The call is always given 3 times in a row to prevent its being mistaken for some similar-sounding phrase under noisy conditions, and to distinguish an actual Mayday call from a message about a Mayday. The single most important component of any Mayday call is the decision to actually call the Mayday. There can be multiple reasons why a firefighter would hesitate to call for a Mayday. Fear of loss of control, panic, lack of procedural knowledge, peer pressure, tunnel vision, pride, and fear of retribution, just to name a few. To simplify our understanding of any Mayday call, we have broken the components into 4 R's. The 4 R's are recognize, report, response, and readiness. The first R we will discuss is recognize. There are certain parameters that should warrant a Mayday call without any hesitation. For example, becoming trapped, entangled, or stuck, falling through a roof or floor, being caught in a collapse or flashover, if you become disoriented or separated from your crew, running low on air, if you become cut off from exits by fire, if you become injured or exhausted and unable to exit, as well as any malfunction or failure with your PPE. Additionally, if your partner or crew member experiences any of the parameters and is unable to call a Mayday for him or herself, then you should call one for them. If you or your crew is unable to answer a PAR request, a Mayday will be called on your behalf. If any of the parameters exist, a Mayday must be called without hesitation every time. Remember, the decision to call the Mayday is actually made before you ever enter the hazard zone.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Once we have met the first R, or recognize the need to call the Mayday, the second R is to report or to call the Mayday. As we discussed earlier, a Mayday call is a series of 3 Maydays. Following the 3 Maydays, you will need to give your UCAN report. The UCAN report is an acronym for Unit, Condition, Actions, and Needs. Obviously, the unit is the number in which you're assigned to and can be found on the radio assignment directive. Engine 611A, for example. The condition is what prompted the Mayday call. Are you lost, out of air, both? Actions, what are you doing to help yourself? And the needs, what do you need to fix the problem?
Mayday, 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 engine 611C. I'm lost on the 2nd floor and low on air, working down the wall to find a way out. I need help finding the exit fast. I'm activating my pass device.
In the previous example, Angel covered all the key points one should remember when reporting Mayday. He spoke clearly, he identified himself, and gave a thorough UCAN report. Let's listen to the example of the Mayday call again so that you can identify all the components of the UCAN report, including the unit, the condition, the actions, and the needs.
Mayday, 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 engine 611C. I'm lost on the 2nd floor and low on air, working down the wall to find a way out. I need help finding the exit fast. I'm activating my pass device.
In this example, the initiator of the Mayday call clearly identified the U, or unit, as engine 611C. The condition, or what prompted the Mayday call, was that he was on the 2nd floor, lost, and low on air. The A, or the action, was that Angel was making his way down the wall searching for an exit, and was activating his pass device. The N, or the need, was he needed help finding the exit fast. Now that we've covered the first 2 R's when dealing with Mayday procedures, first by recognizing the need for the Mayday, and second by reporting the Mayday, we will now cover the third R, or the response. The response to the Mayday has 4 levels. These are the task level, the tactical level, the strategic level, and the role communication or dispatch plays. Each level plays a unique role in responding to a Mayday. The task level response consists of firefighters and company officers. The individual firefighter's response to a Mayday situation should be focused on increasing the chances of survival. The development of these skills truly begins at the recruit level and should continue throughout a firefighter's career on a daily basis. At the task level, individual firefighter responsibilities for Mayday response include but are not limited to maintaining preparation and reaction skills, early communication of the Mayday, controlling your emotions in a situation. Remember BOA, or Breathe, Organize, Act, and utilize fireground survival training, ladder bell, rescue pack training, etc. At the task level response to any Mayday situation, a good acronym for firefighters to remember is to grab lives. G, or the gauge, reminds you to check your air. R is to radio for assistance and give your UCAN report. A is to activate your pass device and your emergency alert button on your radio. B is for breathing or conserve air. L, stay low to the ground. I, illuminate, turn on your flashlight so that you can be seen by your rescuers. V, or volume, make loud noises, tapping tools, etc. E, exit the structure or hazard zone if you can. And in a last-ditch effort, S, or shield your airway with a gloved hand. Now that we have a basic understanding of a Mayday response at the task level consisting of firefighters and company officers, we will discuss the response at the tactical level. On larger scale incidents where divisions have been established, the division officer from which the Mayday originated will become responsible for the resolution of the Mayday situation. If divisions have not yet been established at the time of the Mayday notification and the incident commander has not exceeded his or her span of control, the incident commander shall take responsibility for the Mayday resolution. If the incident commander has exceeded his or her span of control, a division shall be assigned to resolve the Mayday situation. Responsibilities of the division officer at the tactical level include, but are not limited to, responding to the Mayday from the inside out, managing communications with the downed firefighter, manage search and rescue efforts, gather and maintain additional resources, and improve conditions inside through ventilation practices, creating new egress points, etc. It is important to remember that improper ventilation practices can actually worsen conditions inside the structure. However, properly executed ventilation practices can drastically improve conditions inside and should not be overlooked as a valuable tactic when responding to a Mayday situation.
I tell you the truth, I'm a little confused by your tactics.
When responding to a Mayday at the tactical level, it is important to remember a few key points. The division officer must first follow the order of help. We will discuss the order of help in a following slide. Division officers should also keep in mind other divisions operating in the hazard zone. Tasks being carried out by other divisions could hinder rescue operations. The division officer should also always maintain accountability on the fireground and stay aware of changing conditions. At the tactical level response to a Mayday, the order of help should be followed out chronologically yet expeditiously. First, it should be determined if the firefighter is able to self-rescue. Second, can the crew in which the firefighter is assigned resolve the situation? If neither self-rescue or crew rescue is possible, one should next assign crews operating in the same division to rescue operations. Next, crews from other divisions should be reassigned. And lastly, staged resources or resources from other groups, such as exposure protection or rehab, should be summoned to rescue operations. So far, we have covered the task level response, or firefighters and company officers. We've also covered the tactical level response, which typically comes in the form of division officers. Next, we will address the strategic level response. At the strategic level, the incident commander has the ultimate responsibility for actively and continually providing for the prevention and response to a Mayday situation. Remember, on incidents where divisions have not yet been assigned, the incident commander may be in charge of the overall tactical and strategic response to the Mayday situation. Responsibilities of the incident commander at the strategic level include but are not limited to continuity of the entire scene, communication with the division officer and knows when the Mayday has been resolved, confirms that critical points have been met prior to giving the benchmark of Mayday resolved, Of course, the tactical benchmark for the endpoint of a Mayday is Mayday resolved. There are some critical points that must be met before the incident commander can give the tactical benchmark of Mayday resolved. The individual or individuals that are experiencing the Mayday situation are removed from the hazard zone. All members involved in the rescue are accounted for and are out of the hazard zone. All members working in all other divisions are accounted for, and the incident commander can give a PAR for the entire hazard zone. We know from our accountability training that the hazard zone is any area which requires the use of an SCBA or is deemed unsafe by the incident commander. We have now talked about the task level response, the tactical level response, and the strategic level response. Next, we will discuss the roles that communications or dispatch plays in the response to a Mayday situation. Once a Mayday has been called, dispatch shall transmit the frequency alert tone, speak on the tactical channel, repeats the Mayday, and allows the incident commander to speak to the Mayday initiator.
Mayday, 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 engine 611C. I'm lost on the second floor and low on air, working down the wall to find a way out. I need help finding the exit fast. I'm activating my pass device.
Mayday on scene. All units hold your traffic. Mayday. Engine 611C lost on the second floor, low on air, working down the wall to find a way out. Engine 611C requesting assistance with finding the exit and has activated his pass device.
If the first fire department company on scene of a fire initiates the Mayday, dispatch should assure the member that help is on the way, maintain communication with the Mayday initiator until other units arrive, remind the member to initiate their grab lives procedures, and ensures all responding units are aware of the Mayday. If dispatch receives an emergency activation button notification from someone on scene or en route, upon receipt of an EA button activation, contact the transmitting unit to determine their status. If a status update is not provided immediately, declare a Mayday for the unit not responding. Here is an example of how dispatch should respond to an emergency activation button notification.
Terrell to engine 611C status. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Terrell to Moore Avenue Command, engine 611C has activated their EA button and is not responding.
Again, dispatch should first try to obtain the status from the activating party, and if no response is given immediately, a Mayday should be called on their behalf. If dispatch receives an emergency activation button from units not responding to a call and show to be in quarters according to the CAD, dispatch should try to contact the transmitting unit twice. If no response, transmit the emergency alert tone and ask for the status again. If still no answer, contact the OIC to investigate. In earlier slides, we discussed the 4 R's of the Mayday: recognize, report, and the response at the task, tactical, strategic, and communications levels. Finally, we will discuss the 4th and final R, and perhaps the most important, Mayday readiness. All members must maintain a high level of Mayday readiness at all times. Mayday readiness involves adapting an attitude and preparation to look at every incident from the standpoint of, what if I or another firefighter get into trouble, prior to the development of a bad scenario or outcome. Much like the response to a Mayday situation, there are multiple levels and different responsibilities with each when dealing with Mayday readiness. As we learned earlier, the task level consists of firefighters and company officers, the tactical level consists of division officers, and the strategic level consists of incident commanders. Since task level readiness consists of both firefighters and company officers, we will illustrate some key responsibilities of each. Firefighter responsibilities at task level readiness include, but are not limited to, maintaining SCBA proficiency, practicing individual air management, use and care of personal protective equipment reflected in SOG 300.2.10, portable radio proficiency and use, practiced crew communications, and trade time overtime firefighter integration into the crew. Task level readiness responsibilities for the company officer include, but are not limited to, ensuring that the daily SCBA check is completed, practicing crew communications in the hazard zone, trade time, overtime integration into the crew, maintaining knowledge of portable radios and practicing their use, ensuring company officer responsibilities and expectations are clear to the entire crew, practicing and maintaining crew integrity and accountability, and instilling the standard that firefighters should always stay on a hose line. For tactical level readiness, responsibilities for the division officer include working within the overall incident action plan, continual assessment of the decision-making model within the incident operations, management of tactical objectives for the division through position and functions of crews working within the hazard zone, division airway management, accountability, and maintaining effective and appropriate communications with command. Lastly, we will discuss the incident commander's responsibilities at the strategic level for Mayday readiness. The incident commander should continually reassess the incident through the strategic decision-making model. He or she should also consider critical fireground factors, risk management position, strategy, evaluation of the incident action plan, resources, as well as plan and prepare for communication challenges. Additionally, the incident commander should maintain control of the incident communications at all times. Once a Mayday is initiated, all divisions should manage their communications to critical messages only over the radio. Manage communications pace and tone. Incident and Mayday always remain on the same tactical channel. The incident commander should maintain sound accountability practices at all times, as well as managing all tactical benchmarks. And that will conclude our Mayday survival training for the Terrell Fire Department. Remember the 4 R's. Recognize if any of the parameters exist. Don't hesitate to call for the Mayday. Report 3 Maydays in succession and give your UCAN report. Response at the task, tactical, strategic, and dispatch level. And of course, last but not least, Mayday readiness. Prepare and prevent. Stay calm. Remember your training and communicate. Thanks for sitting in. Hope everyone has a good shift. And
Peace out.